Okami is beautiful. It just takes my breath away. When I first played it, it was like I was seeing color for the first time. Okami was directed by awesome incarnate Hideki Kamiya, director of other games such as Beautiful Joe, Bayonetta, and Wonderful 101. And I really appreciate all of his works. They all have such a polish and a sparkle. It's very clear that he wants his games to be eye-catching, like a real spectacle. But what makes Okami truly special isn't its monster graphics. No, Okami is so much more than that. She's a classy lady. Wearing a tiara don't make you no Miss Universe. Nope. Okami uses its visuals to such an overwhelming magnitude. When I finished playing it, I wanted a tattoo of it. Like, the whole game. All over my body. Seriously though, this game is gorgeous. Whenever I need artistic inspiration, I read through my Okami art book. I just love creating, and I appreciate well-crafted works such as Okami. You could say I simply adorno some high art. You see, back in the day, games had very limited graphical power. The NES had very limited colors to work with, and sometimes it would be lackluster. Like, oh, okay, main character's yellow, walls are yellow, spikes are yellow. Oh, yeah, no, sure, yeah, okay. Mwah! Magnifique! Good work, guys. Stick a fork in my eyes, 'cause I'm done. But other times this minimalism is allowed for innovation. Some boss battles would just have a black background, just so then certain colors wouldn't clash with the boss's design. But because of this black background, it would set up an intense fight. It was just you and the boss. Nothing else mattered except for the fight itself. It felt like a battle of the ages, mano and alieno, and the artist wasn't hindered at all. Like the whole reason Mega Man is blue is because there's more shades of blue in the NES color palette. So over time, designers could use more colors with more powerful systems. But most successful adverts didn't really say, now with more color. Like, what? Technicolor video games? They needed something snappy, something futuristic. So they used graphics. Better graphics meant more bits. More bits meant better colors. Look, just hear me out. If you want a really good laugh, look up the old commercials for video games. They were just astronomically terrible. There would be old ladies like,
the Atari Jaguar is 64-bit, therefore it's 4 times better than the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo.
Whoa, take it easy, miss. I can't handle all these hard-hitting facts. It was so captivating. I can't wait to play an Atari Jaguar.
I'm beginning to feel like a lap gun. All the racers aren't as fast as my car. Let's not surprise the system didn't go far. You best believe this game looks bad because it's on Jaguar. But really all these games are just so stupider than Jar Jar.
Okay. Just look at this. This looks like what? This looks like wet origami. This is supposed to look better than this? I don't get it. I did the math. 64 is indeed a bigger number than 16. So how could a game with superior graphics look worse? The term is aesthetic. Graphics are basically like lighting engines and colors. It's what gives the models that polygonal glory. Aesthetic is basically the art style. It's the vibrancy of the colors allowing to set the tone of the game, so you can feel connected to the themes that are being portrayed. However, a bad aesthetic can be distracting. I mean, look at this. It's too much red bloom, not enough gold bloom. But there's more to a game's aesthetic than just being something nice to look at. It can set up visual cues for the player and help convey messages of how to play. Now, I do my fair share of research for this show, but I couldn't exactly find an exact model for how aesthetics could be used in games. So, I made one? But basically, aesthetics can be separated into 2 sections: thematic and mechanical aesthetics. Thematic aesthetics are basically how the game looks. You know, like the real spectacle. It's the qualities that provide a good tone, the use of color and specific textures, bringing out life into the environments and providing an atmosphere that just makes your jaw hit the floor. They can be used to reflect a motif or a theme. Is it cartoon-like? Is it realistic? Or is it retro? These choices are important. The dark zombie demon overlord bent on universal conquest isn't so intimidating when he's bright pink and surrounded by sparkles. Why does a game look the way it is? What does it mean? What context does it provide? The Fallout series has a theme of desolation, and the way the game looks reflects that. And as a player, you understand the context and feel enveloped in the environments. Mechanical aesthetics, on the other hand, are used to complement the gameplay. The visual cues to help give messages to the player. Have you ever played a game and there's light over a door or through a passage? That is a mechanical aesthetic. It's used to give direction to the player, since people are naturally drawn to the light, and the player feels that they figured out where to go by themselves. as opposed to a giant glowing waypoint as if to say, "Come on, hurry up, stupid!" It's the same design incentive, but it's presented differently. Red is a universal color for danger because it's associated with blood. That's why enemies are usually targeted red, or that red is used to represent damage. That way you instinctively know that you're in harm's way. But another way that damage can be represented is through little kinks in armor. You know, some of that Viking battle damage. You can tell when an attack damages or when it's being resisted thanks to these mechanical aesthetics. Mechanical aesthetics are visuals to help convey messages to the player instantly without bombarding them with essays of text. And Okami is a game that uses its aesthetics to such a great degree. It has some of that snap, crackle, and pop. You know when there's someone that you really like and you muster up the courage to ask that person out and you go to smooch them for the very first time in such a perfect moment and your heart is racing and you see a slight sparkle in their eyes. That sparkle is actually Okami because it's beautiful! You play as Amaterasu, or her pet name, Ami, who is the goddess of the sun in the form of a wolf. You know, like Lassie. Oh man, a pet god would be really rad. Anyway, evil has unleashed across the land. You need to stop the corruption and bring light back to the world, all with the help of the brush techniques given to you by the gods of the Zodiac. So basically you could say that all dogs go to heaven.
Oh man, that's really dumb.
This paintbrush mechanic could have been done with a magic wand or some sort of combo list of techniques, but instead it was a brush, so you create and you have an impact on the world. Thanks to this, there's a strong sense of accomplishment when you create, and even more so when people appreciate the work that you did. This is what it means to create art in real life. Okami just captures this. You break the evil curse with your brush techniques and rejuvenate the land, and just all of it just stimulates the senses. Your progress is shown with the visuals, and it feels great. The characters in the game are happy you did what you did, and so are you. I just can't feel bad when I play this game. My heart becomes all warm and fluffy, probably to the point where I need to go see a doctor. To create is to make art. It's easier to destroy than to be an artist. And Okami's theme of artwork isn't just for show. There's so much more to that. The thematic and mechanical aesthetics are about creating, and I love it. There's such benevolence in its design. Everything in Okami feels like it's there to complement the aesthetic, and there's so much it does right. It's stylized to reflect Japanese artwork, and it's extremely referential to a lot of Japanese culture. The paintbrush mechanic is obviously linked to calligraphy, and it just fleshes out the game. This culture is defining character, and character is defining story, because aesthetic is the very foundation of the themes of the game. For instance, enemies are introduced with scrolls in this Japanese art style called ukiyo-e, which were basically used long ago to tell of legends of beasts and demons. By presenting the demons in this way, it really triggers a sense of threat to the player, and it prepares them mentally for a new challenge, as if to say, you need to pay attention right now. And so you should! When you enter a battle, you are surrounded by a dark, decadent aura, sealing you in with symbols saying things like death and other bad vibes. But when you attack, there's a burst of life as petals fly out. Enemies can be taken out with certain brush techniques at very specific times. Each new enemy is like a puzzle, and you need to figure out how your attacks connect or not. You have to be creative with how you trigger the weaknesses of certain enemies. You draw onto the screen and influence the tide of battle and the world around you. Winning these battles will push back the demon's cursed zones and its dark colors. These enemy territories are an exact contrast to the very design of Amaterasu. The way Ami runs with such a powerful stride leaves flowers blooming in her wake. She creates as she runs. The designers made sure that moving was intrinsic, just so then the game never feels exhausting as you travel the map. The way Ami runs with absolute grace is pleasing to the eyes, and so it promotes exploration in the game, and thus it rewards the player with power-ups and collectibles without it feeling like a checklist. This game is just so beautiful! I just love this art style so much. I'm just getting a big old brush in my pants. I'm gonna paint my pants over here. The mechanical and thematic aesthetics complement each other to suit the theme of the game, creating an experience that nothing else can replicate. It doesn't need hyper-realistic graphics. Okami will grow to be timeless because of this well-crafted style. It's just finger-licking good with your eyeballs. Okami is just a brilliant example of why I love video games. It stands for so much, and it illustrates that a game can be so much more than a pastime. Get it? Illustrates. But most importantly, I love the in-depth use of visual aesthetics. It becomes not just a good-looking game, but one that's more vibrant than Bill Cosby's sweater. It's far more than just a spectacle. The visual aesthetics help build up the mechanics and reinforce the themes, allowing Okami to become a gorgeous, well-constructed piece of the highest caliber. I seriously cannot recommend Okami enough. It's one of my favorite games ever. It's truly a work of art. Oh, that's lame. Who wrote this? All right, I did. Okay. Come on, man! Oh, who could that be? Oh, it's Continue Show. Thanks a lot, you guys, for letting me use your jokes. You're much funnier than me. If you don't know Continue Show, then you should really check out their stuff. Oh, it's Nadia. Thank you for helping me do the color work on this episode. Oh, who could that be scratching at the door? Oh, it's Beverly Hills Chihuahua. You're a bit late for that joke that I did. And a huge thanks to you for watching. And if you like the video, you can click the actual button. It's there for a reason. It helps me out a lot. If you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, then you can follow me on Facebook or Twitter. I also have this other show called Plug and Play, which I do small reviews on indie games. But if you want to see more extra life, then you can click right here. Or you can subscribe for when a new episode comes out. I'll see you guys again real soon.